First here at 9 o'clock, the Tulsa County Election Board is rushing to find new poll workers after several people canceled at the very last minute. Thank you for joining us here tonight at 9 o'clock. I'm Brian Dorman.
And I'm Shannon Brousseau. News on 6's Grant Stevens explains what this means for you when you go out and vote tomorrow. Grant?
Well, Brian, Shannon, it could mean longer lines and longer wait times at some polling places. Within just the last day, several dozen workers called out sick, putting the county election board in a pretty tough position. It's hours before showtime at the Tulsa County Election Board office.
170.
This is where precinct officials come to pick up election supplies. But within the last 24 hours, the election office found itself several dozen workers short.
For some reason, we had a rash of precinct officials call in sick, and even some with COVID.
Tulsa County Election Board Secretary Gwen Freeman says sick employees are nothing new.
In every single election, but never quite this many at the very last seconds.
Freeman and her team stayed late, calling old precinct workers who weren't planning on working this year, asking them to help out so they could get up to full staff by tomorrow morning.
We're kind of throwing out a Hail Mary, for folks who could work this election.
A normal precinct has 3 workers.
You have your inspector who's in charge of all the supplies, and they have the chain of custody over the ballots on election night when they return them here. You have a clerk who helps process the voters. And then you have the judge.
Freeman says you can still run a smooth election without all 3 at a polling place.
Of course it's able to run.
But less staff may slow things down, and Freeman hasn't ruled out the possibility of combining polling locations or shifting officials around to fill in gaps. Freeman says it's a good idea to call ahead or at least check with your polling place before heading out and casting a vote tomorrow morning. Live in Tulsa, Grant Stevens, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.